Would you believe me if I told you that in 2026, your paper passport is officially becoming an antique? And that plane ticket you just bought? It might be carrying taxes you can't even pronounce. The era of simple passport stamps is over. You're now facing strict ID rules, biometric walls, and new regulations that decide if you fly or go home. Travel in 2026 has evolved. It's faster, sure, but it has zero patience for mistakes. Don't let your dream vacation turn into a nightmare. Today, we're breaking down 6 massive changes in 2026 so you can breeze through security like a VIP while everyone else is left scrambling at the gate. Pay close attention to update number 5. It's the one change that could leave you stranded at the check-in counter starting January. There are 6 major updates on this list. Let's start with the one that tries to replace your wallet, but might just leave you stuck at security. Welcome to the travel rules of 2026. Your driver's license has finally entered the chat, digitally. Apple Wallet, tap, go. Feels like living in the year 3000, right? But hold on. This is where your high-tech fantasy hits a dead end. You tap your phone, and bonk. Error. Welcome to the walk of shame. The people behind you are sighing loud enough to be heard in space. The TSA agent looks at you like a toddler, and naturally, you get kicked straight to the back of the line. Burn this into your brain. Plastic is king. Always carry physical ID. That phone app is just a cool toy. It isn't a replacement for the real thing. Speaking of plastic, let's talk about that real ID star. The May 2025 deadline has come and gone. If your license lacks that gold star, you are walking on thin ice. And here comes the crack in the ice. Starting February 2026, TSA isn't just giving warnings anymore. They're coming for your cash. Reports say showing up without real ID could trigger a $45 fee just to proceed with alternative screening.
To be or not to be.
Sorry, to pay or not to fly. Forgetting your ID now explicitly costs you your dinner money. On a lighter note, the US is expanding face scan boarding in Atlanta and LAX. But if you think that's intense, take a breath. Europe just built a digital fortress at the border that makes the TSA look like a friendly greeting committee. Ready to face it? If you're dreaming of a romantic European summer, wake up. The border crossing's no longer Emily in Paris. It's straight up Black Mirror. The new entry-exit system, EES, started rolling out in late 2025, but now it's fully mandatory. Think of it as Europe's digital doorman. The satisfying ink stamp's dead. Instead, every single time you cross a border, your face and fingerprints get scanned, logged, and stored in a massive shared database. They're building a long-term digital record of your movement. And yes, they'll take a photo of your face after an 8-hour red-eye flight, so good luck looking like yourself. This brings us to the real danger, the no-refund zone. Experts warn that initial delays could push wait times up to 4 hours at major hubs. Here's the ugly truth. If you miss your connecting flight because you were stuck in this immigration line, the airline doesn't have to rebook you for free. Since it's a government delay, not an airline fault, you could be left stranded with a worthless ticket and a very expensive hotel bill. So, if you've got a tight connection at Frankfurt or Charles de Gaulle, pad your schedule or pay the price. Looking ahead to late 2026, get ready for EDIAS. It acts like a mandatory cover charge for entering Europe. It's around $23. The fee itself's tiny, cheaper than a mediocre airport sandwich, but the cost of forgetting it is your entire vacation. Without that approval in the system, you won't even make it past the check-in desk at your home airport. Travel hack. If you're traveling with a partner, process your data together at the kiosk. You don't want to get separated in that line from hell, watching your partner walk through while you get stuck behind for a random check. While Europe is building digital walls, the rest of the world's a mixed bag. Time to flip the script, though. Not every update's a nightmare. While some doors are closing, one country just went completely visa-free for Americans. Can you guess who just rolled out the red carpet? Stepping away from Europe, the rest of the world feels like a game of roulette heading into 2026. Some countries are rolling out the red carpet, while others are drowning you in red tape. Kicking things off with the biggest plot twist of 2026, Uzbekistan. Who had that on their bingo card? Starting January 1st, they are officially visa-free for U.S. citizens for 30 days. No fees, no embassy interviews. Just grab your bag and go. In an economy where everything costs extra, that's a rare win. Turning to the heavyweights, the story changes. For Brazil, the free ride is officially over. They reinstated visa requirements in 2025, so don't attempt to fly there empty-handed on the visa front. However, ignore the rumors that China is locking people out. It's actually the opposite. They're really trying to bring travelers back, expanding their 144-hour visa-free transit policy and relaxing entry rules through the end of 2026. The reality check. Never book a flight based on a hunch or what my friend did last year. Double-check the rules immediately. There's nothing more painful than getting stuck at the check-in counter, waving goodbye to your itinerary just because you missed a paperwork update. Which country is on your 2026 bucket list? And are you more worried about flights, prices, or visas? Drop a comment below. 2026 is aggressively rewriting the rules on how much you pay to fly, starting with a wallet-draining update from the UK. As of April 1st, the air passenger duty is hiking up again. Flying out of London, especially in premium cabins, just became a luxury tax. To put it in perspective, a family of 4 flying business class long haul could be hit with nearly £1,000 in taxes alone. And that's before you even pay for the actual seats. Now, over in the US, the stakes get even higher. This time, it's about your rights when the plane doesn't move. On paper, the new DOT rule sounds too good to be true. Automatic refunds. Flight canceled? You get your ticket money back, instantly. No 4-hour hold music. No smooth jazz slowly draining your will to live. Hold your excitement, though. There's already talk that some of these protections might get watered down to help the airlines. Translation: you might keep the right to a refund, but lose the right to real compensation for your wasted time. The strategy: treat automatic as a myth until you see the money in your bank account. Screenshots are your armor. Flight delayed? Screenshot the app immediately. Wi-Fi broken? Screenshot the error. Automation only works when the airline admits there's a problem, and they love to glitch when it comes to paying you. If you get stranded overnight, don't just stand there and yell. Walk up to the desk and say, "Can you show me your customer service plan for overnight delays?" It sounds boring, but that one sentence tells them you know the rules. Airlines have to play fair, but usually only if you force their hand. Ever had to go to war with an airline just to get your own money back? Tell me your worst horror story in the comments, and if you actually won against an airline, I want to hear that too. The 311 liquids rule is a total zombie. It refuses to die. Ignore the viral rumors. In 2026, you're still stuck jamming tiny bottles into a clear quart-sized bag. Sure, technology's getting better. Major hubs like Chicago O'Hare and Dallas-Fort Worth have those fancy CT scanners that see in 3D, letting you keep liquids and laptops inside your bag. It feels like a futuristic luxury. Don't get too comfortable, though. Inconsistency is the TSA's middle name. You might breeze through security in Miami, only to get yelled at by an agent at a smaller regional airport on your way home because you left your iPad in your backpack. Unless you're 100% sure your specific lane has a CT scanner, pack like it's still 2010. It's way better than the panic of having your underwear unpacked in front of strangers. On top of that, airlines are enforcing stricter standards for carry-ons. The biggest shakeup comes from Southwest Airlines. Starting in 2026, they're ditching their famous open seating model for assigned seats. This shifts the dynamic. With assigned seats, gate agents often start policing bin space much harder. They stop letting slide those slightly overstuffed bags that used to squeeze in. Here's the risk. If you get to the gate and your suitcase wheels or handle stick out of that metal sizer, you won't be bringing it on board. Best case scenario? You wait for a gate check. Worst case, you get hit with a $35 to $45 checked bag fee right there on the spot. But packing smart only saves your wallet. The next challenge is saving your time. You might have dodged the bag fees, but you're still stuck in a massive line at customs. Good news, They're legitimate apps that act like a fast pass for the border. And one of them makes you feel like a diplomat for free. Want to walk through customs like a VIP while hundreds of other people are stuck in the slow lane without spending a dime? Your first weapon is MPC, Mobile Passport Control. It's the unicorn of government tech, a completely free app that actually works. You submit your arrival info on your phone, skip the paper form, and slide into a dedicated express lane at over 50 US airports. Why pay extra when Uncle Sam gives you this cheat code for free? However, if you're a frequent international flyer, more than twice a year, you should upgrade to the paid programs. Global Entry is still the heavyweight champion. With their new mobile app feature, you can literally take a selfie and skip the kiosk entirely at many airports. As for Clear Plus, don't get confused. This is a private membership that speeds up the ID check only. But if you stack Clear with TSA PreCheck, congratulations, you're officially the Flash of the airport. Here's the irony, though. You can have every app on the planet, but they are useless if you fumble the basics. To make sure you are 100% locked and loaded, let's run through the ultimate 2026 cheat sheet. And stay with me, because there is a specific 6-month rule with your passport that's going to get a lot of people rejected at check-in starting in January. Cut the confusion. This is your 30-second survival kit. Think of it as your do not fail checklist. Rule number 1, digital ID is a backup. Plastic is mandatory. Don't bet your flight on a phone battery. Rule number 2, the 3.4-ounce liquid rule isn't dead, so don't donate your expensive cologne to the TSA. Rule number 3, screenshots are your insurance policy. If the airline claims system error, your screenshot is the only thing that wins the argument. Rule number 4, use MPC or Global Entry. Don't be the one stuck in the slow lane while everyone else is already halfway to baggage claim. Now this brings us to the final boss-level warning. Go grab your passport. Seriously, check the expiration date right now. The date on that page is misleading. It doesn't matter if your passport is valid today. Many countries, especially in Asia and Europe, enforce the strict 6-month rule. Not all of them, but enough that you can't afford to guess. This means your passport must be valid for at least 6 months beyond your return date. If your passport expires in 4 months, you think you're fine. The airline computer? It thinks you're invalid. You won't even make it past the check-in kiosk. Don't let a tiny number on a piece of paper turn your dream trip into a sad day on your couch. So your passport, IDs, and apps are sorted. But there's one last enemy in 2026 travel: the airport itself. The moment you clear security, you stop being a passenger and start being a target. Modern airports borrow their blueprints straight from Las Vegas. Notice how the ceilings get lower, the carpet gets softer, and the lighting turns warm the moment you clear security? That cozy vibe is deliberate. Studies suggest relaxed passengers spend significantly more. Then there's the design of the path itself. The industry calls it the Golden Walk. They force you to snake through duty-free cosmetic aisles just to get to your gate. You aren't walking through a terminal. You're walking through a retail algorithm designed to drain your wallet before takeoff. Be honest, have you ever bought something at duty-free just because you were bored at the gate? Let me know in the comments. While you're shopping, your bag's on its own adventure. If you leave old barcodes on your luggage to look well-traveled, rip them off immediately. You're confusing the automated scanners. One wrong read, and your bag heads to Aruba while you freeze in Chicago. Another secret involves your stomach. Don't blame the chef for the cardboard tasting food. At 30,000 feet, dry air numbs your taste buds. Airlines fix this by loading meals with insane amounts of salt, and they pinch pennies too. There's a legendary case where American Airlines saved $40,000 a year just by removing one single olive from every salad. Petty? Yes. Genius? Also yes. Moving on to security, we need to talk about the loopholes most people miss. First, that little white cloth the agent uses on your hands isn't for hygiene. They're hunting for explosive residue. Next, consider the water bottle you just trashed. In some cases, you actually could have kept it. If you freeze it solid before leaving home, the TSA considers it a solid, not a liquid. Just make sure there's no slush at the bottom, or it's gone. The risks aren't just physical. Be careful with public USB charging stations. Hackers can load malware into these ports to steal your data, a technique called juice jacking. To protect yourself, ignore the USB slot and plug your charger directly into a standard wall outlet. Finally, if you want to flip the script completely, here are 2 pro moves that make the system work for you. Start by forgetting the myth that lounges are only for the rich. You can often buy a day pass for less than the cost of a meal and a drink at the terminal. Free food, showers, silence. It's the best money you'll spend, especially if you're older or just exhausted. Then there's the morning advantage. Take the first flight of the day. Yes, waking up at 4 a.m. hurts, but delays stack up like dominoes as the day goes on. Early flights mean less turbulence, fewer delays, and you actually arrive with enough energy to enjoy your trip. Face it, travel in 2026 has turned into a high-stakes strategy game. Show up unprepared, and you pay the ignorance tax. But now, you've got the cheat codes. While everyone else is panicking at the kiosk, you'll be breezing through security like you own the place. If this intel saved you a headache or a fine, smash subscribe. Don't let the algorithm hide these survival hacks from you. Quick question, what scares you more, the face scans or the fees? Let me know. Go beat the system.